हरे कृष्णा करुणामूर्ति प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी। Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Kindly stay with us for some time. The speaker will be joining in a minute. हरे कृष्णा करुणामूर्ति प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम. Am I audible, प्रभु जी? करुणामूर्ति प्रभु, you are able to
Hare
hear
Krishna.
me?
Yes, bro, I am audible.
Okay.
I am audible, bro.
Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Today we are very glad to have the association of His Grace Karunamurti Prabhu. Prabhuji will be actually walking us through the chapter number 25, sloka number 1 from canto number 5. Chapter is titled Glories of Lord Ananta. So we are actually skipping the chapters from 21 to 24 in 5th canto, 20 to 24 in 5th canto. These chapters are elaborately talking about the various aspects of planetary system. And as you may be, all of you may be aware that His Grace Pavaneshwar Prabhu will be visiting our temple and he'll be giving a seminar on the Bhagavata cosmology. In this seminar, all these aspects will be covered. So hence we are skipping these 4 chapters, and Prabhuji will be directly going to 5.25.1. Prabhuji, over to you, Prabhu.
We can begin, bro.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can start, Prabhuji. Yes.
Let's offer prayers. Mangalacharan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Advaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitansha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, we welcome all the devotees for today morning discussion Srimad Bhagavatam, discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam. Tamalam Puranam, the first verse of the fifth canto, 21st chapter, entitled The Glories of Lord Ananta. The whole chapter, it has, I think, some 15 to 16 verses. Actually, the glories of Lord Ananta will begin from the next verses, very nicely described in one of the purports also. Ninth sloka purport, Prabhupada mentions with the slokas different descriptions, the form of the beauty of the Lord Ananta. So, but today we'll discuss first verse, which talks about uh, the purpose, the role of Lord Ananta as Shesha, who is holding the universes on his unlimited heads. Okay, so this sloka is in a Gadya form. It's not Padya. So I'll just read out and then the translation. Shri Shuka Uvacha Tasya Mula Deshe Trimshad Yojana Sahasrantara Asteye Vai Lokas Bhagavatas Tamasi Samakyata Tananta iti savat iti satvatiya drashyoho sankarshanam aham iti abhimanalakshanam yam sankarshanam iti achakshate. I'll read the translation directly. Sri Shukadeva Goswami said to Maharaj Parikshit, "My dear king, approximately 240,000 miles beneath the planet Patala lives another incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the expansion of Lord Vishnu, known as Lord Ananta or Lord Shankarshana. He is always in the transcendental position, but because he is worshipped by Lord Shiva, the deity of Tamoguna or darkness, he is sometimes called Tamasi. Lord Ananta is the predominating deity of the material mode of ignorance, as well as the false ego of the conditioned souls. When a conditioned living being thinks, I am the enjoyer and this world is meant to be enjoyed by me, this conception of life is dictated to him by Lord Shankarsana. Thus, the mundane conditioned soul thinks himself the Supreme Lord. Purport by Stephen Visesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. There is a class of men akin to Mayavadi philosophers who misinterpret the Aham Brahmasmi and Soham Vedic mantras to mean I am the Supreme Brahman and I am identical with the Lord. This kind of false conception in which one thinks himself the Supreme Enjoyer is a kind of illusion. It is described elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam 5:5-8. Janasya moho yamaham mameti. As explained in the above verse, Lord Sankarshana is predominating deity of this false conception. So Krishna confirms this in Bhagavad Gita 15:15. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivisto matta smriti jnanam apohancha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. The Lord is situated in everyone's heart as Sankarshana, and when a demon thinks himself one with the Supreme Lord, the Lord keeps him in that darkness. Although such a demonic living entity is only an insignificant part of the Supreme Lord, he forgets his true position and thinks he is the Supreme Lord. Because this forgetfulness is created by Sankarshana, he is sometimes called Tamasi. The name Tamasi does not indicate that he has a material body. he is always transcendental, but because he is the super soul of Lord Shiva, we must perform it. Who must perform tamasic activities? Sankarshana is sometimes called tamasi. So I'll just read the description of the summary of this chapter. Prabhupada has given it. So in this chapter, Sukadeva Goswami describes Ananta, the source of Lord Shiva. Lord Ananta, whose body is completely spiritual, resides at the root of the Patala planet. He always lives in the core of Lord Shiva's heart, and he helps him destroy the universe. So Ananta instructs Lord Shiva how to destroy the cosmos, and thus is called Tamasi, or one who is in the mode of darkness. He is the original deity of material consciousness, and because he attracts all the living entities, Sankarshana, he is sometimes known as Sankarshana. The entire material world is situated on the hoods of Lord Sankarshana. From his forehead, he transmits to Lord Shiva the power to destroy the material world. Because Lord Sankarshana is an expansion of Supreme Personality of Godhead, many devotees offer him prayers, and in the planetary systems of Patala, all the Suras, Asuras, Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, and learned sages offer him their respectful obeisances. The Lord talks with them in a sweet voice. His bodily construction is completely spiritual and very beautiful, very, very beautiful. Anyone who hears about him from a proper spiritual master becomes free from all material contaminations of life. The entire material energy is working according to the plans of Ananta Deva. Therefore, we should regard him as the root cause of the material creation. There is no end to his strength, and no one can fully describe him, even with countless mouths. Therefore, he is called Ananta, unlimited. Being very merciful toward all the living entities, he has exhibited his spiritual body. Sukadeva Goswami describes the glories of Ananta Deva to Maharaj Parikshit in this way. For this summary of this chapter. So, Lord Ananta's glories and his description is given in the upcoming slokas that you may be studying later. So, this purport so I would like to focus on today and the discussion. One is about little bit about how the Sankarshana position from the expansion point of view, where he stands, his role, and also this aspect of the purport. In the conditioned living being things, I am the enjoyer. This world is meant to be enjoyed by me. So, because this is the ultimate purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam, which Sukadeva Goswami spoke to Parikshit Maharaj to uh, annihilate the false ego, destroy the false ego. That is the purpose of Bhagavatam also. That's why Sukadeva Goswami is speaking this to Parikshit Maharaj. Janasya moho yamaham amit. So I will focus on this. So Sankarshana, so if you devotees might be knowing already, the position in his as an expansion from Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God. From him comes the first quadruple expansion, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. And that from the first quadruple expansion, that is from first Sankarshana, comes the second Chaturvyuha. Again, second quadruple expansion, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. So that second quadruple expansion, Sankarshana, is the Sheshanaga or Ananta. So which description is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita also in the Adi Lila, 5th chapter. All about Lord Ananta Deva is given. So from this second quadruple Sankarshana comes that Mahasankarshana or Mahavishnu, from whom all the Purusha avatars come from. And from that Mahavishnu, then comes Garbhodaksai Vishnu, then Kshirodaksai Vishnu, how this within one material universe. From Mahavishnu comes all the unlimited universes. So within the universe there is Garbhodaksai Vishnu, and in that there is a Kshirodaksai Vishnu, who is a Paramatma of all the living beings. And Garbhodaksai Vishnu is the Paramatma of the one universe. So this Shesha or Ananta is again, and there is a description in the Laghu Bhagavatam that also it comes. And Prabhupada gives it in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila, 5th chapter, verse number 40 or somewhere. In the purport gives, he is quoting Brahma Samhita and Laghu Bhagavatamrita, explains that the position of the purpose of this two types of Sheshas. One Shesha is who is bedstead of Lord Mahavishnu, who is lying in the causal ocean. So he is eternal servant of the Lord. And there is another expansion, that is Shesha, that is Ananta Shesha, who is holding the universes, unlimited universes on his thousands of hoods. So that is what is this Ananta is talking about, glories of Lord Ananta, who is expansion of Supreme Lord. So that we'll discuss. So this Lord Ananta is also Balaramji and Nityananda Prabhu. So what is the purpose of this? So it is mentioned here in the purport that he is the only one who gives that conception, aham mameti, to the jivas. Skipped. The Lord situated in everyone's heart as Sankarshna, and who is a demon, thinks himself one with the Supreme Lord. The Lord keeps him in darkness. Although such a demonic living entity is only insignificant part of the Supreme Lord, he forgets his position because of rebellion. See. So this Jiva's thinking that no, I am the controller, I am the enjoyer. So this is given by Lord Ananta himself. So who is staying in the, what is mentioned, my dear king, approximately 2,40,000 miles, means it is every, this, all the 14 planets, systems, like a 14 floor building. So we are in the middle floor, which is, where the Bhu planets, Earth, Prithvi is there. So that place, each planet is displaced by almost 10,000 miles. And here, this, where Ananta Shesha is residing, that is below the Patal Loka. From Patal Loka, how much? It is 2,40,000 miles. From there, he is contacting all the connection is where all the jivas. So he is only giving that conception also to that I am aham mameti also. So why is he giving? Why Lord Ananta is giving this? He is only giving, and then we are suffering because of that. So why is he Lord giving that desire to think that I am the controller? So Lord wants to test all the jivas thoroughly, that they don't accept, till the time they don't accept I am not the controller, I am only eternal servant. So thoroughly test, and then only, because his purpose is also is to test the jivas and quality control. then only is they're eligible, they will be released from this material world and go back to Godhead. So that's the one purpose. So this entire creation, as it is mentioned here, the Ananta Shesha, who is holding, it is mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Lord Ananta doesn't know, because this universes, which is unlimited universes coming from the Mahavishnu's, the pores of his skin, which are actually resting on the Ananta Shesha's hoods. And it is said that they are like mustard seed, or in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said that Anuvat. Anuvat means an atom. That's why it is mentioned. Lord Ananta doesn't feel also that the universes are on his hoods, because it is so like an atom, small anu on his head. He doesn't feel. That's why it said that also he doesn't know where the universes exist also. Such a small, insignificant universe is on size when compared to Ananta's hoods. So this particular aspect, when we are coming to the false ego, the jiva thinks that I am the enjoyer and this world is meant to be enjoyed by me. This conception of life is dictated to him by Sankarshana. So Lord Sankarshana was only giving this to test the living beings. So we'll discuss little elaborately about this aspect. So this ahankara, false ego, that I am great or I am something. So that is the root cause, that is mentioned. That is the root cause of the jiva's suffering in this world. Aham mameti. So whoever have that janasya moho amaham mameti, is the root cause that jiva is eternally suffering in this world and not getting out of it. Is my voice clear? Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Oh, sorry. So this conception is very powerful, that jiva uh, is to get out of it is so difficult, because even though so many just like jiva, when there are three types of the situations where jiva is, jagrati, shushupti, swapna. So in all these three, always that conception is there, ahamamete conception, or I am something, I am the enjoyer, or the false ego is always there, even while somebody is sleeping, even while somebody is dreaming, even when is awake. Also, like this, pralayas are there. Four kinds of pralayas, except the Atyantika pralaya. There is Nitya pralaya, Naimittika pralaya, and Prakritika pralaya. So during all these three pralayas also, the jiva, though different kinds of bodies also is lost, means destroyed, the false ego is not destroyed. Such a power the jiva has to hold the false ego. And despite changing so many bodies in those different difficult situations, that conception that jiva is not giving up. So the Nitya Pralaya is every day there is a change in the body is happening. It is said that no doctors, no devotees, that every 7 years, the whole cells in the body, the whole body actually changes, because cells are changing every moment. Or we see that so many people are dying. Every moment there is some cells dying in our body. That is Nitya Pralaya. Every moment there is a constant destruction of our body or the jivas within this world happening. So during that time also jiva is still, after that also is still holding on to that false ego conception. Aham mamete or ahankara. Then Naimittika Pralaya. That is when Brahmaji's one day ends, one Manvantara or 100 days of Brahma. In that one day ends. Every day there is a this pralaya, Naimittika pralaya. When Brahmaji goes to sleep, so that time pralaya happens. So that time also jivas, they don't give up. And then Prakritika pralaya, where the Brahmaji's life also finishes. Brahmaji's life is such a large, it is 3 trillion, 3 billion, 11 trillion some years mentioned. So many years. So even Brahmaji exhausts his life, still Jiva going through all these different species still holds on to that false ego. So only when the Atyantika Pralaya, that is the liberation, when the living entity gets liberation from this world, so only in that Pralaya, pure, the Jiva becomes pure, then only he gives up that false ego. So that is the power of Jiva, to hold on to false ego. That's why to overcome false ego is not very easy. And it's very powerful. And that is the root cause of the Jivas staying in this world comfortably, adjusting to all the situations. Any kind of difficulties are there, still is holds on to that conception and stays happily. The Jiva has such a ability, any difficult situation you put, they'll adjust it to that situation and live. From insect to any Devata's position or whatever. In this material, any position within this material world, lowest to the top. And Jiva always adjusts to the situations, adapts. They have such an adaptable capacity. They stay. So that is the power of false ego, conception. So this Ananta Shesha, also there are this 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshanam utayah manvantara ishanukata nirodho muktirashray. So nirodha is a dissolution of this universe. So that is the purpose. Ananta Shesha, who does that activity of nirodha, is destruction, is mentioned here, like through Lord Shiva. So he gives that power to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva destroys the universe at the time of Pralaya. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's, there's a Mangala Charana of our Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur by Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhara Swami. Says Svairacharabdi Samagna Jivan Gaurangri Pankaje. That means Svairacharabdi means the Jiva's nature, that false ego, with false ego comes the desires. That Svaira means the Jiva's nature, or you can say false ego or behavior. With that false ego, he creates a desire, and that desire is compared to the Abdi. Abdi means the ocean. Samagno. So he drowns in that ocean. And the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Jivan Gaurangir Pankaji, he rescues them, those who has fallen like that. So there is a glorification comes of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. So that means the Jiva, he creates by the ocean is compared to, means ocean is filled with water. So what water is saying is the desires. So each drop of that ocean is each single desire we create, jivas. So every time we are creating new desire, so it is adding to that ocean. That drop by drop, that becomes an ocean. So in that ocean, that person, he drowns. So there is this verse, Apani Gaura Pahun, in that bhajan it comes, Apani Poshane Apani Dubi. It says that the Jiva, he drowns in the desires of material, the material desires, the ocean of material desires, he drowns. When every time the Jiva is creating new desires, so he's adding that water. So as the more water is there, the person who drowning, of course, the ocean is already full. So he will drown more when the desires are increasing. So the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, is by taking shelter of Guru, Srimad Bhagavatam, Hari Guru, Vaishnavas. So one can evaporate that water in the ocean. So that we'll see. Because this conception, false ego is very difficult to overcome. Even the time factor also cannot destroy it, just like we discussed. That all the pralayas, all the three types of pralayas also, the jiva holds on to this conception, aham mameti. So that's why on our own it is very difficult. And so we had to take shelter of Hari, Guru, Vaishnavas. So in that way, we will be able to dry this ocean of the material desires. Because by associating, that we'll discuss that how by taking this shelter in the form of Lord Chaitanya gives the three formulas by which we can overcome the false ego by Jiva, Namaruchi, Vaishnava Seva, and Jiva Daya. By doing this, by taking shelter of Hari Guru Vaishnavas and practicing this, one will be able to dry up the ocean of material desires and then completely destroy the false ego. So Gajendra is also saying this, the ocean, in the जिजीविषे नाहम इहामुया किम अंतर्बहिश्चार्वते योन्य इच्छामि कालेन न यस्य विप्लवस् तस्यात्म लोका वर्णस्य मोक्षम. Saying kalena na yasya viplavas. By time also, this the passing of time, this ahankara will not destroy. What is the use of an elephant's body covered externally and internally by ignorance? Ignorance, avidya, is the cause of false ego. So what is that ignorance? Avidya is forgetfulness of Krishna. When Jiva forgets his relationship with Krishna and his identity, then that is ignorance, and that is the cause of unlimited desires and creating the false conception, the false ego. I simply desire eternally liberation from the covering of the ignorance, and that covering is not destroyed by the influence of time. So one cannot, if we don't work on it, it will not just go away on its own. By time, passing of time, we saw that different pralayas also, the jiva is still holding onto this conception. So then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that this Bhavasagara or ocean, which initially I was mentioning, I just mentioned, Swairacharabdi. So that's one's independent nature. Swaira means one's independent nature. Achara means one's behavior. Abdi means ocean. Bhavasagara. Swairacharabdi Sangam Jivan Gaurangri Prankade Stapayati Atma Satvena Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. This is the glorification. So only by taking shelter of Lord Gauranga's lotus feet, one can get out of this, following that the Sikshastakam, which verse Lord Chaitanya gave, Trinadapi Sunishena Taror Vasahishnina Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadayari. So unless one becomes humble, one cannot overcome the false ego. That is the only way. We cannot, there is no other way other than becoming the humble. So Abdi means ocean. So we discussed about this ocean. So we are in that ocean that so when we take shelter of Lord Gauranga by the process of this Jiva, Namaruchi, Vaishnava Seva, and Jivadaya, then there is in Bhagavad Gita, there's one picture. If you see it, there is a person who is drowning in the ocean. He is just holding his hands like this, upheld. And then Lord Vishnu is coming on the Garuda and holding that person, trying to lift him. Like if you gone to Kolkata temple, and above the altar it is there, that picture. So to get off this ocean, only by taking shelter of Gauranga, then we can get out of this world. Otherwise, there is no possibility. So especially that desire which we are talking. So it is a moment to moment choices we are making in our daily life also. There are moment to moment decisions we take, and that causes the desire. That is based on the desire. So because if that desire, what we are creating, if it is not favorable, anukulyasya sankalpa, then or it's a pratikulyasya varjanam, we should give up. So if we are taking the desires which is pratikula, then we are adding water in the ocean, adding the drop, or I don't know, liters of water. So that will only drown us. So that's why what kinds of desires we create is very important. So we have to evaporate it by also cultivating the spiritual desires. So when we cultivate spiritual desires, when we cultivate material desires, then the ocean increases its depth and the volume of the ocean. So when we cultivate spiritual desires, then that desire will only evaporate the ocean. So we have to cultivate also spiritual desires. Krishna says, so if you have to come out of that ocean, in Bhagavad Gita, so Tesham aham samuddarta mrityu samsara. Tesham aham samuddarta mrityu samsara vartmani. Krishna is saying that I will deliver them from this mrityu samsara, the ocean of mrityu, death. So he will deliver. So that is the 12th chapter, Krishna speaks. So we have to work on our desires. So there is one more from, I have written some quotes, means examples from scriptures like Ramayana. So how we can take shelter of the Lord, get out of this ocean, just by surrendering, as I said, just surrendering to the Gaurangri Pankaji, Lord's lotus feet, means Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet. Of course, surrender means it's as soon as we hear the word surrender, it's very difficult to hold. Initially, it is easy, but later on it becomes difficult. Surrender word becomes very difficult to accept unless when we are purified of our some conception of false ego. Surrender feels like a thunderbolt for us to accept. So even sometimes people, even when spiritual master gives some order or instruction also, because of false ego, he doesn't accept. So he rebels. So that is the worst situation sometimes we create because of the false ego. So Vibhishana, when he came to Lord Ram along with the 4 of his servants, the demons, to surrender. So that time he says, Raghavaya Mahatmane Nivedayatma Kshipram Nivedayatman Kshipram Vibhishanam Upasthitam. Says that, my lord, immediately you accept me quickly. Mahatmane, oh great Supreme Lord, I'm begging you, Nivedayatma Kshipram Vibhishanam Upasthitam. So please, quickly you accept me. Why is saying very quickly? Because when for a jiva who is in this material world enjoying all kinds of facilities, to trying to lord it over this material world, he completely forgets his identity. Only very rarely such a soul comes in the crossroads where he thinks or he gets a desire, that he comes to his senses by the mercy of his Sukruti, Bhakti Sukruti, or some Vaishnavas, or by the Lord, that he gets a desire to surrender to the Lord. That's only momentary. Because of that, Vibhishana is telling, quickly accept me, because it may just vanish, that desire, very quickly, anytime. So before I change my mind, please accept me. That's why Vibhishana is saying. So we also feel that we have sometimes a desire to do, study Bhagavatam nicely, or hear, take association, do service, but that desire doesn't last long. For it comes and then it just like a flash, it goes off. So immediately we should, if you think that I'll do it later, then it goes off. Immediately we should get into that reading or whatever. So because that desire is very, here it is talking about the jiva's desire to surrender. So after what is that? Brahmanda Brahmete Kona Bhagyavana Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasadavai Bhakti Lata Bejum. So after roaming in this Brahmanda, one jiva very rarely gets that desire. So fortunately, if he goes to the spiritual master, then comes across the spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master, then he is given that Bhakti Lata Bij. So Vibhishana is telling that. So this from that crossroad, so one who takes the right path by surrendering to Gaurangri Pankaje, the taking the shelter of Lord's lotus feet, then he gets a route which is expressway or highway. There is no obstacle on this. Otherwise, the all other roads, which is like pathos, very narrow, congested, and tough road, the jiva which is going through now in the slumber of ignorance, forgetting his relationship with the Supreme Lord. So he is struggling with all kinds of difficulties. It says that jiva, he is every moment he is suffering. All kinds, the whole body, every inch of the body is giving suffering. This all the 3 kinds of Adhyatmika, Adidaivika, Adibhautika kleshas is going through. So because all these are the roads which currently Jiva is doing his journey, all the difficult parts. So sometimes he comes in the junction where he gets a desire. Then if he chooses the correct path, means the desire, accept that Gaurangri Pankaje, taking shelter of the Lord, taking shelter of Guru, Vaishnavas, then he gets the not his toll gate is open for expressway, and that is bhakti path. So there is no obstacle in that. There is no difficulties. So then he passes very fastly through that. Otherwise, in this jiva has to go through this difficult path, troublesome, changing the bodies. Says that kshut. There is one verse. Kshut parito yathadina sharamaha graham graham charana vindanti yet distam dhandam odanam evava. The jiva's position, if we don't take that choice in the crossroad, so what are the difficulties is going through? This is kshut, parito. Kshut means hunger, parito, surrounded by yathadina, all the pitiable souls, this we, jivas, how he is struggling in this world. Sharamaha. Sharamaha means it's like a dog. Graham, going to house and house. Charana vindanti means falling at the feet of the dog is going for some food, standing at the door. Vindanti, he gets what he gets when he goes. Yadishtam, destined. Dishtam means destined by. Dandam is beaten up by the owner, the householder, or Vodhanam eva. Sometimes he may get rice also. So he's surrounded by the hunger, all the pitiable souls like dogs. Hunger means here because of the desire to enjoy this meal. So it's compared to this jivas in this world. Desiring to enjoy is like compared to a dog who is going to different houses, means going to different bodies. In some places he will enjoy, in some bodies, in some places he is beaten with the sticks or stone. Continuing in this world because of kshut, that is the desire. So that has to, the jiva has to get out of that cycle of desiring anything in this material world. Then only he will get the highway, that is bhakti path, where there is no all this difficulties. And then ultimately, then he will reach that supreme abode through that highway. So that's what Vibhishan is saying. So these four, and Lord, then Lord Ram accepts him after that prayer by Vibhishana. If you don't accept me now, then I may forget that desire. Anytime that desire may go away. So then Vibhishana comes with his four associates. So Ramanujacharya, he comments that he compares them to be the four limbs of Saranagati. First is Akinchanatvam. So if somebody gets this, follows this Sharanagati principles, then he will liberate himself from that false ego conception and also from the material desires. Now, Akinchanatvam, he has to think that I possess nothing. Ananya Gatitvam. So I possess no other destination than the Supreme Lord's abode. Means I possess nothing, means nothing of this world. I possess only the spiritual things. Then Shakti. So Lord is the supremely powerful that he can offer his surrender. Means only Lord can give shelter. Nobody else. Means no other Devata, no other, the Jivas will give shelter. That ultimate shelter, only Lord. Sharalata. Then what is such a Lord? He is immediately accepts the Jivas. He will not keep the Jivas. No. Means Lord is Saralata also means that he doesn't see the faults of the Jivas and he only sees the good and then he accepts them. he will not remember any of the jiva's fast deeds. No, he will just control shift delete, and then means a jiva who willing to surrender for him. So he will delete everything completely from his memory. So that is the Supreme Lord. So that's what Ramanujacharya explains. So how then, by following these principles of Namaruchi, Vaishnava Seva, and Jivadaya, we can get out of this world. So that is the solution for our part as what we can do for Ahankara. One is we discussed that we have to follow always that we said that Jiva has to, the devotees have to wear that ornament. Trinadapi Sunichena, Taroriva Sashnina, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. So that is one thing. And then this three principles which Lord Chaitanya gave us. Namaruchi means chanting, developing faith and taste in the holy name. So beginning with our chanting, which is very important, it is mentioned that 99% of our devotional progress or advancement depends on our japa, quality japa. How attentively we chant, what is the mode we chant. So when we take shelter of holy name completely, by that way, and then Vaishnava Seva. So when somebody chants very attentively with proper attitude, because we are asking for service, so Lord bestows us with the service for Hari, Guru, Vaishnavas, especially to Guru and Vaishnavas. Even in that also, we have more opportunity to directly serve Vaishnavas. So serving Vaishnavas, because to when we are serving the Supreme Lord, there is even we have false ego. Lord is not bothered much about means it doesn't intervene. So only the Guru and the Vaishnavas, especially Vaishnavas, so intervene in our false ego. Even if we don't want, so their false ego will come up, pop up, like suddenly we are seeing any browsing something, suddenly something pops up, like that false ego pops up. So how we overcome that? By Vaishnava Seva. So good chanting will lead to service attitude, service to Guru and Vaishnavas, also the Supreme Lord, especially to Vaishnavas, because it is easy to serve Lord, sometimes easy to serve Guru also, and it's not very easy to serve Vaishnavas because we have false ego, because we don't understand who is Vaishnava. So only when that's why Prabhupada has created this, because where we can find Vaishnavas in the association, Sangha. So Prabhupada has created this ISKCON society, the temples community, where in this Sangha all the Vaishnavas come together regularly. So in that association, we have opportunity to serve devotees. So when we serve, our false ego is getting crushed, and all the ocean of the desires we created when we serve Vaishnavas will also be evaporated. So that is, so when we serve Vaishnavas nicely, and then by the blessings of Vaishnavas and Guru, we are empowered by their blessings. And when Vaishnavas are pleased, Guru is pleased, then we are empowered. Then we will be able to help the jivas who are also others conditioned souls suffering because of the false ego. Because by serving Vaishnavas, serving devotees actually removes false ego. Because we have conception, I am the master, but when we become the servant of another Vaishnava, then that mastership goes, the servantship comes, which is our original identity as Gopi Partur Padakamalayur Dasa Dasa Anudasa. We don't have any other identity. Naham Mipro Nachana Ripati Napi Vaishyo Sudro Naham Varni Grahapatir. Then that verse only it comes. So we have only that identity servant. So when we are able to serve Vaishnavas with that mood, then by their blessings, so we are empowered to help other jivas, that is Jivadaya. Then we'll be, whomever we speak, whomever we share Krishna consciousness in the form of book distribution or preaching or creating festivals, even deity worship. Whoever comes and sees the deity also will get attracted. Whomever we are doing book distribution also is will able to take it. So this uh, Shakti to preach comes by service to Guru and Vaishnavas, as menial service. So this potency, this Shakti comes, and then we are empowered to transmit this message or share this message of the Supreme Lord, which is Prabhupada has created such a facility. That's why Prabhupada emphasized so much book distribution. Why? Because through book distribution, we are able to uh, help those jivas who are thinking in this world, like we discussed initially, holding on to that conception of false ego. By reading these books, so their false ego, they will get out of this false ego. So that's why the book distribution, preaching is very important. In that way, we are also doing Jivadaya, helping so many conditioned souls to get out of this world. So, which is very much pleasing to the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, this verse says that whoever is giving this knowledge to sharing among the people, so they are very dear to me, Lord says. So, by distributing books, by preaching, we are helping so many jivas. So, for that, before that, we have to do homework also of Namarchi, good chanting, and Vaishnava Seva. So that way we can overcome our false ego, which is the root cause of suffering in this world for all the jivas, which is blocking all the opportunities for a jiva to surrender. The false ego becomes the obstacle for jivas to surrender. Every opportunity comes, otherwise, because the jiva thinks any service opportunity comes also. Sometimes we have conception that some services are below our dignity. And some services we think that without us, we are indispensable. Without us, that service will not go on. So this conception is very dangerous. So any service, just as we are discussing Ananta Shesha, so he is the one who expands in any service which is there for Lord is, any whatever for in our perception, maybe small or big, all the services are expansion of Lord Ananta. So he only expands. So that's why no service is less. Only what consciousness we are doing that service with matters. So that will make us purify our heart or relish the Krishna consciousness. So what is the mode we are doing that service? So not only some big service or a small service, whatever service we have, if we do with only the consciousness matters. The Krishna is Bhavagrahi. So that way we will be able to get out of this conception of false ego. Then we come to our true identity, that is we are servant of the Supreme Lord, or servant of devotees. So then Lord is pleased with that attitude. Then it is very easy for us to, by then, when it comes to his original situation, original position, servant of the Lord, then the material ocean for him means all the sufferings, all the material desires are finished, dried up, evaporate. That way, his jiva becomes pure, and then he's happily situated again in the spiritual world, free from the false ego. So we have discussed in the beginning how Ananta Shesha, or it comes from Krishna, then first quadruple expansion, Balramji, then first quadruple expansion, then second quadruple expansion. From second quadruple expansions come from the first quadruple expansion of Sankarshana. And then second Sankarshana, where is there? There comes Mahavishnu. Then Mahavishnu, all those we saw, the hierarchy. Then we also saw how the Jiva has this false ego, and that false ego is given by the Lord only. The conception, material conception, to enjoy in this world. That is to test. So till the time the Jiva is wanting to enjoy, Lord will keep giving. But the Jiva, when he decides that I don't want any more of this, I want, when he comes to that junction, then he is get the opportunity, and then he will come out of this false ego by whatever we discussed, because otherwise Jiva has such a potency to hold on to the false ego conception despite so much changes which is happening to this body in different pralayas and different species in different yugas. So that is the Jiva can overcome by coming to the crossroads, taking shelter of the Lord. Then he gets a highway, the path of bhakti. So in that path of bhakti we discussed, first is by taking shelter of the Lord. First is the desires. We have to create spiritual desires, more and more adding spiritual desires that way. Otherwise, that ocean of the material desires will drown us. So we'll only commit suicide in that. And especially by Namaruchi, Vaishnava Seva, and Jivadaya. So that way a Jiva can overcome this false ego. Otherwise, it's a great obstacle, the great wall. Nobody can break this false ego. It's even powerful than Vajra. Vajra also can be cut by Vajra, but false ego cannot be cut by them. So only by service to Vaishnavas and taking shelter of the holy name, then we can overcome this false ego. Hare Krishna. So I will pause here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for the wonderful class and also very beautiful summary. I would request the devotees to unmute the line and share the comments or questions.
Hare
The
Krishna.
devotees are able to unmute them now.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhu. So, the Jiva has to transfer from false ego to false ego. So, what are the factors which transfer, Prabhu?
Couldn't hear the last. What are the factors?
Which facilitates the Jivas to become like, get those spiritual desires, Prabhu. Because I feel some people are so stubborn. So, what can we do for them, Prabhu?
Are you new people?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So for the new people, as we discussed, we have to understand their at what level are they in first.
Yes.
Whatever level, whichever we have many things in Krishna consciousness is called the way of presenting Krishna consciousness in different ways. So we have to find out what is the way we present Krishna consciousness, bhakti. In what form, if we present them, they'll be able to accept. Somebody may accept culture, somebody may accept philosophy, somebody may accept kirtan, they will appreciate prasadam, somebody will appreciate the association or DT. So we have to see what we have which they are looking for. We have to give that, then they'll be able to accept that. Otherwise, it is we will not know, because they may be in different level. We may be presenting something, so they will. It may not work. So what we have is not what they need. But whatever they need, we have to find out whatever we have in Krishna consciousness. So that we have to present to them. Ultimately, it is by our, we also have to have that attitude that, I am the instrument. And by prayers, Krishna will empower us because he is there as Paramatma in that Jiva. So he will inspire him to take or not to take. So he may not take also, but we are adding that by approaching that person. So that is what is book distribution means. We are approaching how many people? Hundreds of people, thousands of people. Some may take, not everybody will take. 10% may be success rate. But 90% of the people, by we approaching them, we are adding some bhakti. So gradually, after they meet for some other devotees somewhere different places, so they will be able to take it. But we can always approach, unless they are very much antagonist. We can present in a innovative and acceptable manner, purely.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So just by
Yes.
approach, whether they accept or not, it is like a kind of security for them, Prabhu.
Yes, we explaining you. There are many things we can explain about what we are presenting, what we are doing for society, how we are practicing. You list the 7 purposes of ISKCON. If you see, anybody can accept it. Even the outside people also will appreciate.
Yes,
And you can
Prabhu.
explain activities what we are doing. Okay.
Hare
Great.
Krishna. That is very much, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I have that a small clarification regarding Ananta Shesha. Ananta Shesha, you said that he's holding all the planets on his hoods, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we also see here that the planets are floating and it is controlled by Lord Krishna. So how should we understand this text?
Who is speaking, Proj?
Ravilochan Govindas.
So planets are floating and Krishna is controlling. Maya dakshena prakriti suvite sacharacharam. And he's saying it is holding, Ananta Shesha is holding on the universe. That is your doubt, how it is. Hare Krishna. Is that your doubt, Prabhuji? Whether it is there on the hood of Ananta Shesha or it is floating?
Correct. How is he controlling? Is he actually holding it or is it floating and through that floating he is controlling it?
Who Ananta Shesha or the
Ananta Shesha. Another thought, I just wanted to ask, I wanted this one from you, answer from you. That is, how is he holding it, Ananta Shesha? Or is it Krishna? We also hear that Krishna is through, all the planets are floating and Krishna is controlling it.
Yeah, Krishna is not directly controlling all these material universes. He doesn't have to do. That's why this expansion, which I mentioned initially. So Krishna has nothing to do with this material world. So he comes only for that Leela. So he says that when he says also Maya Dakshena Prakriti Surya, so he is by just his agents, he is controlling it. And here Ananta Shesha, if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, chapter 5, so there Prabhupada mentions it is the Ananta Shesha on his, there's sloka also. It says that they are on the hoods of Ananta Shesha, they are so tiny, so insignificant, as I mentioned also, like Anu, an atom. That's why Ananta Shesha doesn't know also where the universes are resting. It is mentioned that he doesn't know because he doesn't feel also they are on his hoods. Such a tiny, like sometimes it is compared to mustard seeds, it's even smaller than that. No atoms. So he doesn't know, but that's why it is present. So what we have seen, that the picture what we see, the universes are floating. So how exactly it is, if you attend our this detail described in the first 21 to 24 chapters, which if you attend Pavaneshwar Prabhu's classes, he will explain detail. So how this, where that Ananta Shesha is situated, and how this universe is also floating, how the earth is also, earth we are saying it is floating, and it says that Bhagavatam, earth is actually it's positioned on the ice, peak mountain. So on the ice mountain, it is there. So all those details, very detailedly, Prabhuji explains. If you attend, it will be more clear for you, because it is very difficult to comprehend now. Because what we have seen is the pictures, all the planets, the universe are floating. But that is not exactly how it is. So if you attend or if you see the video of Pavaneshwar Prabhu, all the structure of the universe, so he explains it.
Prabhuji, I have attended Parmeshwar Prabhu's class. In that
Okay,
also,
what Prabhu said.
if you see the Mandara mountain, and next to that we have this Dhruva planet. But here,
Yes.
that time, really suddenly I got this doubt. In fact, I didn't ask him in this class. I suddenly got this doubt when you are telling. That's why I just thought I'll ask you.
Yeah, it is mentioned like that. Let me open if you want. Maybe after this, I will give you. You can stay back when devotees go. I'll show that verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. If somebody has any other question, they can. Otherwise, we'll pause here now.
Yeah. Before,
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for
1
the.
minute, Mataji. Just hold on, Mataji. I just want to make a quick announcement. Tomorrow we will have class at 8 o'clock from the temple. We have a visiting guest from east of Kailash, His Grace Aiguri Prabhu will be giving class in the temple. So we'll be doing the live streaming of the class from the temple. So the class will not be at 7:50, but it will be at 8 o'clock. So please take a note of that. Thank you, Mataji. Please go ahead with your question.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat
Yes.
Pranams. Thanks for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Whatever Prabhuji was asking, I have the same doubt, Prabhu. So I'll wait for the explanation. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Any
Then
other
we'll.
questions or?